Israel has blocked all humanitarian aid into Gaza. This decision follows the expiration of the first phase of a ceasefire deal. The ceasefire was mediated by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States. It initially halted 15 months of fighting between Hamas and Israel. The deal allowed for the release of hostages. 33 Israeli hostages were exchanged for about 1,900 Palestinian prisoners. The ceasefire plan was originally proposed by Joe Biden. It consists of 3 phases aimed at a permanent resolution. The first phase started on 19 January and expired recently. Negotiations for the second phase have barely begun. This phase aims to secure a permanent ceasefire and the release of all remaining hostages. Phase 3 focuses on returning deceased hostages and rebuilding Gaza. This reconstruction process is expected to take years. Hamas has stated it will not agree to an extension of Phase 1 without guarantees for Phase 2. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office announced the halt of aid due to Hamas's refusal to accept a proposed extension. The proposal was made by Donald Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff. Netanyahu indicated that Israel would not allow a ceasefire without the release of hostages. The Israeli government reserved the right to resume military action if negotiations fail. Witkoff's proposal remains undisclosed but is said to involve releasing half of the remaining hostages. The situation has drawn criticism from Hamas. A spokesman described Israel's actions as cheap blackmail and a coup against the ceasefire agreement. He called for international mediators to intervene. Aid agencies reported that no trucks were allowed into Gaza following Israel's decision. Humanitarian assistance is deemed essential by organizations like the World Food Program. They have urged all parties to find a solution. Thousands of aid trucks had been entering Gaza each week since the ceasefire began. Fortunately, aid agencies have stored supplies, meaning there is no immediate danger to civilians. However, the cessation of aid raises concerns. The Egyptian foreign minister has called for the full implementation of the ceasefire deal. Egypt plans to present a reconstruction plan at an emergency Arab summit. On the ground, violence continues. Medics reported 4 deaths due to Israeli strikes in Gaza. The Israeli military stated it targeted individuals planting explosives. The conflict has resulted in substantial casualties. Approximately 48,365 people have died in Gaza since the conflict escalated. There are currently believed to be 24 hostages alive, with 39 presumed dead. The conflict began with an unprecedented attack by Hamas on 7 October 2023. This attack resulted in the deaths of about 1,200 people in Israel. The ongoing situation remains tense and complex. The international community is closely monitoring developments. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is worsening. Aid is critical for the survival of many civilians. The future of the ceasefire and peace negotiations remains uncertain. As negotiations continue, the stakes are high for all parties involved.